Well, we played real good against Alabama and lost in overtime at home, and then we played Kentucky and Lexington in overtime and had a good chance to win that game. But I think Auburn has a fine ball club. They're well coached, and I hope that our club is well coached. It's just as hard to win. People like Wake Forest this year were defeated by Mississippi State. We beat Mississippi State. Right now, Wake Forest is leading the ACC, and it's a real tough league. And I watched Auburn's game with Tennessee Saturday on TV. I don't think Auburn play any better. Tennessee just has a great ball club, and so it goes down in the books as a loss. But it's just an amazing league that we're in, and I think that it's a fine line between the winners and the losers.
What are your keys to beating Auburn tonight?
Well, I don't really have any keys to them. We beat them once last year in a fine ball game, and I think, or rather the year before last, they beat us twice last year, and they certainly drilled us real hard at home this year. Mike Mitchell scored 40 points on us, and anytime Georgia walks up or close to him, he becomes Superman. He's a great player, but he had a extra great night against us.
Wants to show those Georgia boys.
Hey, he gets excited when he gets in his home state, and hopefully we can cut down on Mitchell's points. He's the kind of player, though, that's going to get his. He's going to get some points, but hopefully we can do a little better job defensively on him, and we've got to stop their fast break. Eddie Johnson, of course, is a great player. People like Miles Patrick inside and Bolden and Horges and all these people that hit the boards are hard for us to contain. So I hope we'll be able to play a little better than we did in Athens, but we expect Auburn to be awfully tough to beat.
One final question. Do you think if Tennessee beats Florida down there tonight, they got it?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think that'll be a big step for them tonight if they win at Florida and Alligator Alley. But I think it's going to go right down to the wire. I think Tennessee and Kentucky and Alabama, all three are very much in the race, and I think that our champion that does come out of this will certainly do real well in NC2A play.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That'll be a good
Well, I don't think Phil was the alley so much as it was the Florida basketball team. They're an excellent basketball team, and you know, the baskets were 10 feet high. We just didn't react to some of the things that they threw at us, particularly their full court pressure. And
which we're famous for.
Well, that's right, and we've been handling that pretty good most of the season, but with about 7 minutes to go in the game, we had to take Dickie Keffer out of the game to give him a little rest, and plus the fact he had taken a pretty severe blow on his leg, and he had been sick with the flu most of all of last week and didn't practice, so we felt like we needed to give him a little breather there. And while he was out, the dam sort of burst. We had 4 straight turnovers there, and they converted them and went from a 5-point lead to a 15-point lead at halftime. And I think that little spurt right in there was really the difference in the game.
You're encouraged by the fact that Auburn's been going bad at home?
Well, you never know how those things are going to work, whether it'll work in your favor or, they could come out super aggressive, super fired up, determined to turn their season around, and we could have our problems. I just hope that we don't get anybody hurt, because Coach Davis has talked about how they're going to make it a physical game and beat on us and try to take our finesse away from us. So, we just want to kind of go into the Lions' den and get out without getting somebody hurt. That's going to be our main objective.
Who do you like of the top three now?
I'm very impressed with Alabama. They've got a really fine basketball team. I think that Reginald King and Ricky Brown give them the inside ability and scoring punch that they need, and then their outside quickness and speed is unbelievable.
You think they'll be able to hang in there with Tennessee up there next Saturday?
I think so. That'll be an interesting ball game, and I think that they could afford to lose at Tennessee and still win the championship. I don't think that as the league currently stacks up that the contenders necessarily have to win at Tennessee. Yeah. Kentucky's already lost a game at home, and that puts them in a bind. And I look for Tennessee and Alabama really to decide the championship.
No, not really. I have recommended, though, that 3 officials be used in our league. We experimented, Phil, several years ago with it, but it was not a true test. 2 weeks ago, I made a talk at the Birmingham Tip-Off Club, and my recommendation was that they let the coach get up a little bit more and do some coaching standing up, and the second recommendation was to go to 3 officials. Many years ago, they used to use 3 officials for football. Now they're using 6 and 7. They had 1 in baseball. Now they're using 3 and 4. So here we are doing a tough job with 10 big people out there that move like deers up and down the court, and they're 6'10", 6'11", and they can run fast. And we need 3 officials to give better coverage on the court, and I think this would really help a lot.
When you make a mistake in officiating and you know you made a mistake, is there any action you try to take?
There are certain areas that we can have a correctable error before the clock next starts, before you have another live ball. For example, in the Ole Miss-Georgia game, my fellow official had let the boy move on the baseline to throw it in. He thought a successful goal had been scored, and then a timeout was called. I didn't know that he had told him to move. So when he did move, and I called a violation, I went over and chatted with him. We gave it back to Ole Miss because it was a correctable error. In other words, I did not make a mistake because I didn't know that he had told the kid he could move. And the rule is that once a successful goal is scored, you can move up and down the end line to throw it in. And he took about 4 giant steps, and I whistled on him. But it was correctable, and we're glad that we can do those things. Sure, we make mistakes. We like the players. We miss the tough one to call, Phil, sometime is underneath the goal when the big guy jumps up to shoot and another big guy goes up to tie him up. It's either a jump ball sometime or he held him on the wrist. They're awfully hard to catch sometimes, and those are difficult. Sometimes we make mistakes. Surely we do.
Every once in a while, a guy will say he can't take the heat anymore, or the abuse. If he feels it's too much. You ever thought of leaving the refereeing business?
No, but when it gets down to that, if it bothers me mentally, then of course I would leave. Right now, I'm excited as a kid with a new toy when they tell me I'm going to work the Alabama-Tennessee game or whichever game I have next week. I'm still excited about it, and as long as I can keep my excitement, then I'm going to continue to do a good job for the league.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, sir.
How much horsepower's that thing got? Just 1. That's me. It ain't enough. What are you doing riding a bicycle around this garage here?
It's a big old place. You get awful tired walking around here for 4 or 5 days.
You act awful cool on the day of qualifying. You must be running good.
Well, we're running real good right now. I don't think we're running good enough, to get on pole, but we're running about 188, 89 mile an hour, and that's the best we've ever run. So, when you come and you run that good, what we figure that we can race that fast, then we feel pretty good about it.
Did it bother you that KO wouldn't let you by Sunday in that race when you were 3 laps behind?
Well, yeah, that, kind of upset me a little bit, but, that's racing. Won't be long, I'll have him down 3 laps. I'm not going to let him by either.
Works 2 ways, huh?
Yeah, it works both ways.
Can't do that on this track, though, can you?
No, this track is, if you can run fast enough to catch a man here, you can pass him because the track's, 4 or 5 grooves wide and plenty of grooves, 2 real good fast grooves. So, when a man catches a man, if he wants to pass and his car's capable, he can pull out and pass him.
Besides Richard Petty, who's the best drafter up here?
Well, I tell you, I don't know that I'm that good. There's 4 or 5 of these boys that really got the knack of this drafting, and you know, when you get to going and you got 4 or 5 cars in a draft, then it's not too hard to draft. Where it's really hard to draft and really help anybody is when they're just one-on-one.
You know how to do that, though, don't you?
Well, I've done it before. I'll put it that way.
Yes, I have. I got a letter from him, in fact, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and in fact, we've got to go down for a mandatory veteran camp just this next week for about 2 or 3 days. He wants to check everybody's oil and grease, I guess, and see what kind of condition we're in, and that's the first time we've ever had a mandatory camp. They've been able to do that because of the new collective bargaining agreement, but I think it's a good thing with the disastrous year we had last year. He really thinks it's necessary that we do.
Knees are tricky things. What do you feel are your chances, Mike, of complete recovery and getting back to where you were?
Well, I said they were fantastic at this time last year, and I was wrong. But now I feel like it's just a tremendous chance that it will be fine structurally. The knee is very sound, and it's just a matter of gaining the other 5% strength that is lacking now, and it's just a matter of working with it to do that. So I don't really have any doubt with it whatsoever this go around.
How long would you like to play?
I don't know. I'm just going to have to evaluate